Ocean Gate Titanic submarine has started their journey from Canada's St. John port on the location at which they have to dive. It was approximately 700 kilometers from St. John port at north of Atlantic Ocean. And at this port, they have dived inside the water. The scrap of Titanic ships were available. Saturday, 17th of June, they had started their journey. According to their plane, they have to land into the ocean for their journey. Well, let me tell you that there were a problem which were noticed on the submarine before they dived, but they make it negligible. And what was the problem, and why did they do that, even if they knew the problem? Their viewers, in this journey, there were a total 5 of people which were present in the ship, in which the action aviator founder Hamish Harden that he have traveled to the space with Jeff Bezos. Number 2, Stockton Rush. He was the CEO of Ocean Gate. This is for the American tourism which provides submersible. And number 3, Powell Henry. They have visited Titanic and he was shipwreck expert and they have a lot of knowledge about the Titanic parts. At last, a Pakistani business icon Shahzada Dawood with his son Sulaiman Dawood were the pair of this submarine. At 17th of June, before they dived, Hamish Harden posted his last tweet on the internet and he says that due to the critical cold weather they have delayed their dive, but will tomorrow morning they will dive if the condition will make some barrenness, will show some barrenness. These 5 people, for the sake of their passion, a popular submarine Titanic, and wanted to explore it. While in 1912 it sunk, but for several years they have searched it, but due to the Atlantic Ocean harsh condition, it was not possible for them. And in 1985, at ocean floor, RMS Titanic stuff were found. Titanic had left a lot of mysteries behind it, and now it's a time to find their answers. Dozens of experts, Canadian filmmaker James Cameron, in 1995 visited Titanic dozens of times, and in 1997 Titanic movie were released and that fulfilled the desire and make the people more thirsty, and the people make it their dreams to saw the Titanic in their life. It means now it's not only for the researchers but for the tourists as well. There is a famous saying that it is much harder to going into the depth of water as compared to the space, and the biggest reason behind this is the pressure of water. Titanic ship wreckage from the ocean surface, it's about 4,000 of meter, it means, which is 4 kilometers down into the ocean. If you want to imagine the depth of this, you can imagine Burj Khalifa at 5 times of Burj Khalifa, and this depth, the pressure of water is about 5,800 psi. It means it's a kind of operation that you have to stand out the elephant on your finger, not on the whole body. And now you can imagine how much pressure the submarine possessed. On Sunday, 18th of June 2023, at afternoon 12 p.m., started their journey. Normally, to reach out the Titanic, it take 2 hours, but after 1 hour, exactly 1 hour and 45 minutes later, the mothership's Polar Prince, which was waiting on the above surface and monitoring them. At this time, he noticed that they had disconnected from their mother ship. Now, if the ship takes 2 hours to reach to the submarine and exactly before 15 minutes of their connection to being broken, that means that they were close to the Titanic. At this point, the light of the sun is impossible, and this point there is only darkness. And at this point, the disconnection of wireless signal is quite normal and not noticeable, so that don't take it seriously. The total trip was around 7 hours from 12 p.m. to 7 p.m. But when there was no signal from the submarine till 7 p.m., the Canadian researcher Polar Prince started to search them and they started giggling. At 9:40 p.m., they have contacted the US Coast Guards for help. Next day, on Monday morning, the USA Canada team had started their proper research for the submarine in order to find out anything, not just at the surface of the ocean but deep inside the ocean with the help of sonar scanning. At this area, the commercial boats were also notified to be active. The operation were carried on for 2 days, but there was no sign of the Titan. But then there was a signal of hope at Wednesday, 21st of June at morning 6 o'clock. The search team heard some voices from the depth of ocean. These voices were heard with the help of underwater radars. Immediately the ROVs were sent in the directions, but there was nothing, no signals. Now, at this port, the scares were increasing due to that the oxygen were just for 96 hours and for the 4 days. At that point, the 3 days would pass out of the 4 days. But then the US, France, and Canada team don't give up on them. On Thursday, 22 of June at 12 pm, ROVs were sent towards the Titanic wreckage and they have seen what they have shocked them. At 3:40, the ROVs reached the Titanic. It got out the part of the tail of submarine about 1600 feet away. Home had to see the wreckage of Titanic. Now the wreck were the news in the world. It means there is a only reason behind this, and that was the submarine haven't faced the pressure of ocean and it just burst out on the boat. And there was the catastrophic news in all over the world. And there were a lot of questions arises on the Ocean Gate. The Ocean Gate CEO Stockton Rush, which were present in the submarine itself. In 2021, he started that he had broken some rules and regulations while making the Titanic. But not this time. We want to make some changes in this industries. And because they have made Titanic not from the steel but from the aviation grade carbon fiber. Their first launching that were at 5,000 to 10,000 of psi, which was successful. But the experts says that inside the ocean there is not only just pressure of water but also the wave of oceans, along with that different kinds of species as well. That could be the reason. And the second reason was the cracks on the submarine, which were present on the submarine surface. In 2019, Titanic submarine had made their first flight with the Carol Starler, an American businessman, for the Titanic wreckage. And the call stated that at that moment when we were heading toward the submarine there were sound, but we haven't focused on them because I have fully faith on the CEO of the Ocean Gate. Okay, now after 1 week he gave the interview to the CNN and told the whole mysteries of cracking that submarine are not enoughly handling the pressure of water. In 2018, Ocean Gate employee raised the voice against their carbon fiber that it will give them warning just before the explosion some milliseconds, and that proven reality. At the depth at which the submarine burst out, it takes just only 0.3 seconds. Hope so you will enjoy the video, and if you have learned something new about the nature, hit the like button. Thank you very much.